Joining me now to discuss this is Katy Faust. She's the founder and director of Them Before Us. Katy, welcome back to Washington Watch.
It's so good to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Before we jump into this bill that is right now before the Senate, Chuck Schumer talking about it again today on the Senate floor, share with our listeners briefly your story and why this is an issue for you.
Yeah, well, it's an issue for me, mainly because I've worked with kids for 20 years, and I see the pain inflicted on them when they are separated or when they lose a relationship with their mother or father. And what the redefinition of marriage does is it insists, it normalizes, and it promotes motherless and fatherlessness. But also, because so much of the motivation for the redefinition of marriage is bound up in language about phobia, hatred, anti-gay rhetoric, right? That's the only reason why you could support natural marriage. And that's a lie. That's a lie because everybody that I know who supports traditional marriage also loves gay people. We just believe kids need a mom and dad. And that's true for me. My mom has been in a relationship with her partner since I was 10, and I love her. And I love her partner. And loving them is absolutely not in conflict with recognizing that children need a mom and dad.
And there's also this conflation of terms. We are to love everyone, but that doesn't mean we have to affirm every decision that people make.
Yeah, correct. And for Christians especially, you need to confront and rebuke choices that insist that children sacrifice their fundamental rights and needs for adults. That's actually a matter of justice for children.
I want to get to that because you say marriage is an issue of social justice for children. Now, I want that to sink in for a moment because we hear all this about social justice. We're hearing about that actually being an argument for the redefinition of marriage. You say it is a social justice issue for children. Explain.
Well, just like children's right to life is a social justice issue. We are doing justice to the least of these when we defend life, when we oppose abortion. Children also have a right to their own mother and father, to be known and loved by the two people responsible for their existence, and marriage is the delivery system to protect that right.
I would strengthen even further than social justice kind of gets caught up in a lot of stuff. It's a natural right.
It's a natural right. That's right. And it's a matter of justice.
Yes.
You know, sometimes we say social justice. All justice is social, right? We don't need a qualifier. God doesn't qualify justice in the Bible. He just says, stand for justice, advocate for justice, especially on behalf of the least of these.
So as you take this message as one who's experienced this, but at the same time, a heart filled with love for those who are trying to redefine marriage, what response are you getting?
What response? Well, the good news is the people that hear it for the first time with open minds have open eyes.
Yes.
And they suddenly see that actually what we do with marriage and family policy, if we get it wrong, children are the victims 100% of the time. And we can have love and empathy for the adults in those scenarios. And I actually think Christians should be the best at reaching out in love and compassion and friendship with people who disagree. But just like in the pro-life world, we say, here's the bright red line of children's rights, that no matter how you feel, no matter longing, no matter what loss you experience, you cannot violate a child's right to achieve something that you want. And so that is what we need to start doing in the marriage and family debate as well. Say children have a right to their mother and father. Things like marriage are a matter of justice for children because it's the only relationship that unites the two people to whom children have a natural right. Redefining marriage will always be an act of injustice because it will separate a child from one of the adults to whom they have a natural right.
To get to that point, when I'm going to talk about policymakers for just a moment, it's going to require some courage.
Right. Well, standing for the most vulnerable who cannot speak for themselves, right, always means you're going to put yourself on the line for them, but that's how it's supposed to go. It's adults who are supposed to do hard things for kids. And for way too long, we have valued our own social acceptance over the well-being of kids, and that needs to end.
Absolutely. I mean, that is at the heart of the matter. We're more afraid, and it goes back to the opening of one of the verses I shared today as we began our program. You know, we have a greater fear of man than we do of God and of his truth.
Yeah.
And we've just got to return to that foundational, we call it natural law, we can call it moral law, call it whatever you want.
Yeah.
But every child deserves a mom and a dad.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really grateful for Family Research Council. You're one of the few that are highlighting the harms to kids in the ill-named Respect for Marriage Act. So for that, I'm very grateful.
Well, Katy, we're thankful that you are here and looking forward to what you have to share with us tonight.
Great, thanks for having me.
All right, good to see you again. And folks, I want to